Okay, so today I'm going to continue on making the edge connector and test fixture, figuring out the wiring or the pinout for this board, this Venture Line breakthrough board is what I think it is. And so up to this point we've got video, we've got power hooked up. Next I'm going to want to figure out where the coin circuits come in at, and I'll use the Atari breakout schematics to try to figure that out, because this looks like a genuine clone of the Atari breakout game. So let me start tracing through, try to figure out which pins go to the coin circuitry, and there should be two sets of coins if it's like this one, which I'm pretty sure it is. So let me get started on that and I'll be back. So I'm back and I've got the harness mostly done. These two switches here are the coin switches. It's coin 1 and coin 2. I've got a DB9 connector here that I'm plugging in Atari paddles to play the game with. I have tested that; it does work. It's not much control because these are 1 mega ohm resistors in here, and the game is expecting 5K, so a little bit of turn does a lot of movement, but it's good enough for testing. Let's see, what else did I do? I hooked up the serve button to the fire button on my control panel, and I've got the start buttons 1 and 2 connected up. So we are ready to try to test this thing and try to figure out what's wrong with it. So if I give it, right now there's no coins. I'm not starting a game when I push the start button. So let's test both coins. All right. So if I give it a coin, that means I flip the switch back and forth. This is coin 1, so I just added 1 coin. I shouldn't be able to start a 2-player game because there's only 1 coin, so that's correct. I should be able to start a 1-player game though, and it does. So that coin switch is working, and the 1-player start is working, and the credit counter is working. Now, if I push the serve button, it serves. Okay. Now the bricks are gone initially. I think that's wrong. And then when the ball serves, the bricks come in. I've got to research that to see if that's correct or not. So I'll review videos. I think that's wrong. I think the bricks should be there to begin with. But all the bricks show up. We have the ball in attract mode, so that's a good sign. Did you see the paddle in that? I think the paddle was there too. So let's try a 2-player game now. I'm going to use switch number 2 this time to coin up a game. All right. I can't start a 2-player game because there's only 1 credit. So now let's add another one with this one, with the switch. All right, so now there should be 2 credits on the machine. If I push the 2-player button, it should start. And it does. Okay, where's the paddle? One of these adjusts, there it is. Okay, so the paddle's there and it's responding to the controller. Now if I push the serve button, oh, I missed the ball. Okay, so now it's player 2's turn. This one was flashing initially for player 1. Now this is player 2. Now these should be zeroed, so that logic is bad. I'll need to figure that out. But that's what we're doing, right? We got it hooked up. We're trying to play it. We're evaluating to see what's wrong with the board. What's right with it is the coin circuitry is working and the credits circuitry is working. Now this board can credit up to, I believe, 15 credits. I think there's 4 bits that store the number of credits. So if I kept giving it coins, eventually it'd get to 15, and that would be the maximum. We've tested the ball serving, and we've tested the paddle. Actually, the ball hasn't been hit with the paddle yet, so let me try to do that. Up. And that's a problem. The game is set on, let's see, it's set on 3 balls. No, yes, it's down here. This switch here is set to 3 balls. That's 3 balls. So it should be, each player should get 3 balls, but it's only giving 1 and it's game over. So that circuitry is wrong. The ball count stuff is wrong. I'll have to figure that out. Now the scoring is messed up too. It's not clearing. So we're getting a list of things wrong, and I believe all that's different circuitry. There may be some commonalities, but I wouldn't know off the top of my head. Let's see, what else can we test? The audio has not been hooked up yet. I did find the audio pin in the schematic, and I found it on the board, and I labeled which pin I think it is, but I haven't hooked that up yet. So I still need to test audio, and basically we've got a list of problems that need to be fixed. but this is an excellent start. The board is actually working a lot better than I thought. I've seen videos where people got old boards like this for Pong or something, and like the whole board, all the chips, half the chips or more were needing to be replaced. So I cannot complain about this at all. I've got the schematics, I've got my scope, I'll start probing around. I've also got a logic probe I can use if that may make more sense. I'll have to think about it depending on the situation. But yeah, this is coming along, and that's it. When I completely finish this video series, I will post the pinout that I came up with for this board, and then that can be put into whatever websites that need the information. Apparently, there's not a whole lot on venture line breakthrough boards and logic and stuff. Anyway, I'm going to continue on this and start working on the board, and I'll be back. Okay, so I have made some progress on this, and I'm just going to document where I'm at. I'm going to play a game so we can see how the gameplay is. Scoring still doesn't work, but the balls, the number of balls is trying to work. It's still not perfect. Let's see how this goes. Okay, this is a one-player game with the ball set to 3. So the paddle registers, it hits the ball. The bricks are registering. The score is not correct. It didn't clear, and it's not adding correctly. Now, that sped up after a certain number of hits, which I believe is correct. And I lost the ball, so that's correct. This is ball number 2. And if you hit on the edge of the paddle, the ball goes off at a wild angle, which is correct. That part of the logic's working. Basically, the gameplay seems to be working. It's the scoring and the ball counting stuff that's broke. Haven't tested sound yet. All right, this is ball number 3. The scheduled ball serve is correct. After you push the button, it waits a certain amount of time, or it's kind of a random amount of time before it launches. It's a little bit different every time. I believe that is correct. The ball speeds up after a certain number of hits, and it will also speed up if you hit one of the higher level blocks in the wall. I haven't done this in gameplay, but I have done it testing. So that does work. And this wild angle is designed that way. And it'll straighten up and speed up a little bit here or there. It sped up and straightened up. Oh, game over. So that was 3 balls, and that worked perfectly. Game over mode, it launches the ball after you lose your last ball, and it just kind of bounces around. All that's correct. So what's wrong that still needs to be fixed is the scoring, and also those extra characters above the top there, which probably is all related to the scoring. Anyway, there we are, making progress. I will say this, the ball counting problem was this switch here. If you review the video, you'll see the switch was askewed. It was over to the side, so you could never select either one. It has to be, one has to be on and one has to be off. And this thing would only allow one to be on and the other would just float. And that was a problem for the logic. So I took the switch apart and cleaned it up real good and put it back together. And that solved that. That's it for today. I'll post the video as is, and I'll continue on working on this probably tomorrow. Thanks, guys.